We're back with the Mountain Dew, baby. I think that's what's been holding me back. It's not an addiction, I swear, bro. It's just been shit. It's been holding me back. Promise. I'm not a duoholic. I promise. What the fuck does that even mean? Hey, welcome in, Zip the Dragon. I don't know why I'm watching the. What? I just had a stroke. Nice. I don't know why I'm rocking the shades right now. It's nighttime and I'm indoors. Perfect time to wear shades, if you ask me. Wait, I think my stream is echoing. No, it's not. I lied. Nice. Oh wait, I'm retarded. Hold on. Where does here we go. Okay. And then I'm not prepared for this stream, as you can probably tell. Who's this idiot? Who's this moron on my screen, bro? Okay, wait, no, I'm supposed to click on the link. I'm genius. But what did you just send me? History of American state and territorial flags? Motherfucker, I don't want to watch this. Oh, it's gonna make me read too. Or is it? Is it gonna make me read? Wait, you can't hear it. Hold up. I gotta make sure you can hear that shit. There we go. Okay, tell me if it's too loud or too quiet. It is really fucking loud. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Man, I don't give a shit. My dad was really sad when America turned 18 years old. I can't even hear it. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, they don't have to be American themed. That's just like where I'm coming up on the 4th of July. That's currently 3 days from now. I'm probably gonna stream really late on the, well, no, probably not. It probably won't be much later. Can you not hear me? Because if not, I think your headphones might be on mute. No, I'm not watching the stream. This is so buns. Bro, oh my gosh. Most replayed. Wow, this must be the most interesting thing ever. Bro, I don't care. Can you hear it now? Is that too loud? I feel like that's too loud. Well, maybe pay attention to it, bro. I don't care. If you ask me to name any of these states here, I can name who? Texas and California and Oklahoma and South Korea, Dakota. The Sunshine State. That's Florida, motherfucker. South Dakota is a different flag. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And Oregon. And Wisconsin and Montana. Kansas. I'm really liking what they're doing, where they're putting the names on the flag, so I can easily name them. Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin. I think I already said that. I have dementia. It's probably fine. Okay, I'm not watching this. You can't force me to watch this. And Georgia? Oh, wow. That sure is interesting, man. Sure is very, very interesting stuff. But I don't give a shit is the problem. We have 4 people watching. Damn. I don't give a shit is the problem. We have 4 people watching. Wait, let's get a loop here. Wait, no, turn on. Fuck you, bitch. Wait, let's get a loop here. Wait, no, turn on. Fuck you, bitch. No, fuck you, man. Let's get a loop here. Wait, no, turn on. Fuck you, bitch. No, fuck you, man. I'm so smart. Alright. Somebody's texting me. It's my dad. My dad's always trying to sex me. So, what? Okay, wait. Send me video. If you want to succeed, you gotta have a big brain. What the fuck are you talking about? My brain is microscopic compared to my penis. What? Okay, here we go. The Gulf War. Oh my gosh, this guy's just saying American videos whole stream.
Your website. Can you imagine a desert ground war being fought and won in roughly 4 days?
Yep, I know,
sounds insane. I mean,
he's pretty cute.
Speed run of the century or aimbotting a bunch of depressed tearbeards who had nowhere to go.
Tearbeards?
We're talking, of course, about the 1990 Gulf War. That time Saddam Hussein thought he could casually invade his tiny oil-rich neighbor Kuwait. Until, wait a minute, the US Army, Navy and Air Force joined the party and they brought a few friends. Whoopsie. Laser rangefinder versus sandals matching a dress.
What am I watching?
Not exactly a fair fight. So, in this video, we dive headfirst into the carnage and drop some payloads as well. Oh yes! Brace yourselves for an absolute sandbox shit show.
He's humping the air.
From the brutal tank wall at 73 Easting to the flaming wrecks on the highway of death, we'll unpack this lightning fast war in excruciating detail and show exactly how coalition forces drew a line in the sand against Saddam's very thirsty cravings for oil and global attention.
Is that Osama bin Laden?
Do you want to ride around in your own tanks to invade the enemy forces? Well,
not particularly, no thank you.
What kicked off the Gulf War? Well, Iraq
had just
survived an 8-year war with Iran, and
girls with no rights.
Wars are pretty expensive.
That should be the whole America, you
Iraq
know.
Was broke
big dicks, low IQ.
Expensive.
Donkey fuck paradise stuff. Shitload of sand. Shitload of oil. Child marriage paradise. What the fuck? Smart people, dumb religion? Is that what that says? Region? No, religion.
As we all know, wars are pretty expensive. Iraq was broke and desperately looking for cash.
Yemen has no age of consent. Oh, I'm still streaming, my bad.
$1 billion debt collector named Kuwait demanding repayment. Now, instead of paying up, Kuwait got served a full dictator-level Karen rant.
No.
Accusations of manipulating oil prices, stealing oil through slant drilling, and basically a never-ending list of
not homosexual Hitler.
Kuwait's response? They shrugged, ignored the whining.
It's dangerous. It's in a civil war right now. Yeah, but there's no age of consent, so who cares?
Exactly go over well.
I'm sorry. I gotta stop. I'm sorry.
However, coalition planners were sure Saddam wouldn't invade an Arab brother nation. Which makes sense, and
some fat-ass dudes,
is a ruthless maniac who takes many
you know what happens with fat-ass dudes?
Oh yes, the Middle East
fat-ass fuck.
Such a fun place from time to time. Now, needless to say, Iraq invaded Kuwait almost immediately, and in no time, the Iraqi army had full control of their neighboring Arab brother nation.
Yeah, sorry to get like a little off track here, but have you seen Obsession?
And as
I
soon
know
as
you
the
watched
US
like my
figured out
video on it.
oil
I
was
don't know if you
involved,
watched the full
coalition
thing, but
nations started massive troop buildups in Saudi Arabia, both to protect the region and to
they
get
should
ready
mark
for
the
a
land like
full-on
this, like Alabama. Like that's such a lame name. Like just name it No Age of Consent
liberation operation.
Paradise.
And to get some oil in the process, of course. I mean, duh.
This guy's
Now, over
low-key
time, more
baddies.
troops and weapons poured into Saudi Arabia, like loading a game lobby with all the OP.
This is like a
weapons
3D
unlocked.
South Park
Tanks,
kind of
artillery,
animation is
helicopters,
what it
and
looks like.
planes
Oh
streaming
shit.
in like someone hit spawn everything.
Somebody hit spawn everything.
The UN even issued a dedeline for Saddam
just making
to
sure I
basically
didn't get
fuck
banned.
off back to Iraq. But apparently
Yet.
Saddam's ego was bigger than his mustache, so nothing happened.
Is that Hitler?
And so, in January
Where's
1991, after Iraq ignored more deadlines, the coalition launched Operation Desert Storm, starting with a massive air campaign
That
to weaken
sucks.
Iraqi forces.
Looks like a
Now, over the
fucking
course of 5
bonsai bill
weeks,
from
about
Mario, bro.
2,700
Look at look, bro. Tell me, bro. Like that's just a fucking bullet bill.
forces. Now, over the course of 5
Alabama's
weeks, about
alt name would be Cree.
2,700 coalition aircraft completely obliterated Iraqi air defenses. Stealth attack aircraft like the F-117 Nighthawk destroyed radar installations, and Iraq's air power was basically
No, that
wiped out on the
sucks.
ground and in the air.
Imagine what a loser.
Now, after 5 weeks of turning enemy planes into fireworks,
Imagine
the
getting
coalition decided
nuked.
it was
Could it
time
be
for
me, bro?
boots on the ground. I mean sand. And so the ground, or sand war in this case, had officially begun. The plan, a massive left hook maneuver. Swoop around Iraqi
Base
defenses,
rape.
trap their troops in a giant
To
desert
be
pincushion,
raped.
and let the fun begin. And oh,
What
fun
am I
it
watching?
was. Within hours, US armored elements were closing in on Saddam's Republican Guard division.
But yeah, agreed.
These
Some
guys were
states
dug
should
in,
have
waiting
different
inside
names.
their
Real.
rusty T-72 tanks ready to fight.
Alabama
But
should just
unfortunately
be
for them, the first thing to arrive
family
wasn't the
tree.
enemy, it was a sandstorm.
Fucking it's
Turning
legal. I don't know.
visibility into no visibility.
Something
and
about the
making
cousin
their already
fucking, you know.
outdated gear even more useless. And just like that, the stage was set for one of the most lopsided tank engagements ever. The Battle of 73 Easting was about to begin. So cruising straight through the storm, Abrams tanks and Bradley fighting vehicles from the 2nd Cavalry Regiment closed the distance with zero hesitation. Thanks to thermal vision, they could see Iraqi tanks glowing through the sand like campfires.
Orangutans.
Laser rangefinders dialed in the distance, and the shooting started before the Iraqis
I love how
even
they're
knew
all
they'd been
smoking.
spotted. Turns out Saddam's elite Republican guards were more like
They're kinda smart,
Republican
bro.
retards. Well, this well-coordinated attack overwhelmed the Iraqi defenders, with soldiers running in every direction.
I
or
think the
just
word
exploding
retard
in
is
place.
underrated. I think it should be more
Politics and
globalized.
war is all about learning, networking, planning, and creating stories that will affect thousands of people for
Do not clip the thing I said about the R word.
And
Relax.
meanwhile,
That was a
Bradley
joke.
fighting vehicles rolled through, picking off stragglers and turning the
Virginia should
battlefield
be
into a tank
Appalachia,
graveyard.
Utah
Which, I
should
mean,
be
honestly, was
desert,
easy, since the Iraqis had
Deseret,
already done all the
Washington
digging for
should
them.
be Cascadia, etc. We gotta name
When the
something
sandstorm
interesting.
cleared, the US tankers surveyed the battlefield and counted around 80 enemy tanks destroyed.
Hell
But the
yeah.
real question, at what cost? The answer, 0 tank losses, 1 Bradley damaged. Yes, that's
No.
right, 80 tanks obliterated, while the Abrams crew's only worry was whether their own tank would be washed and clean for the next day. Coalition forces rolled across the desert, and by this point, Saddam probably realized invading Kuwait was a bit of a terrible idea.
Aw, poor Hitler.
So, the Iraqi occupation forces in Kuwait City did
What
any
is this
usually do.
animation, bro?
They ran fast down Highway 80 back towards Iraq. Now,
Highway 80,
unfortunately
like
for the
highways were a
commuters,
thing back
everyone had
then.
the same idea. The highway quickly became the world's worst
What the
traffic
fuck?
jam. Tanks, APCs, ammo trucks,
Oh my
civilian
gosh, I was-
cars, and
oh, it
few
is
fuel
actually a
tankers
highway,
tossed
what?
in like a bonus hazard. Because, I mean, why not?
Just go
And
around
from above,
them.
US pilots were probably peering down and thinking, where do you think
This
you
should
guys
bring
are
more
going?"
states.
So for the next 10 hours, coalition aircraft turned the convoy into
Yeah,
a
you're enjoying
flaming
it? I low-key
demolition
am, I'm not
derby.
gonna lie.
Trucks exploded, tanks burned, soldiers sprinted like it was a bad
No.
action movie. And by sunrise,
What?
Highway 80 looked less like a road and more like the aftermath of a very angry video game. Around 2,000 vehicles were now smouldering wrecks, earning the nickname
Oh, well, that
the Highway of
sucks.
Death.
At least the
It served
highway
as
is
a brutal
still
reminder
usable,
that
though.
retreating under total air supremacy
See, the
isn't exactly
helicopters
a
are
strategy.
using it.
But then again,
Oh, that guy's
what
using
was
it.
the
Oh,
strategy
nice.
for the Iraqi occupiers? I mean, just saying. And just like that, the Gulf War was basically over.
I love how he
Kuwait was
calls the
liberated, Iraq's
Iraqians
elite units
different
became
names every
deleted
time.
units,
What even
and
would you call
Saddam,
them?
well, he was still breathing, but he wasn't exactly a happy guy.
Poor guy.
During the air campaign and the following ground operation, coalition forces
the
lost
birdie.
292 men.
That's
They also lost 31 tanks, 28 Bradleys, 1 APC, and 75 aircraft.
Were the tanks buried
The
too?
Iraqi forces lost,
That was disrespectful.
wait
I'm
for
sorry.
it while we grab a bag of chips with hummus, 3,300 tanks destroyed, 2,100 APCs toast, 2,000 artillery pieces blown into pieces,
Well, there you
110
go.
aircraft burned, and 19 ships sunk. Oh, and around 20,000 to 50,000 guys died.
Were those
as well.
buried too?
Yeah, nice scores, Iraq. So in the end, Saddam learned the hard way that invading an Arab brother nation is one thing. Stealing their oil
No, don't
is
hurt the
maybe
camel.
something
What the
else,
fuck?
But pissing off the United States and their coalition buddies armed with stealth aircraft, smart bombs, and tanks with thermals and laser rangefinders, yeah, those guys don't fuck around, do they? So, did you enjoy this deep dive into the Gulf War? I mean, we've got tons more videos exploring all the dark chapters of history. So subscribe to our channel or become a member on YouTube or Patreon.
It's so weird. How does it do that? Whenever like somebody says subscribe in a video, it highlights the subscribe button. That's so weird. I dig it though. Low key, Indianly, good video though. 51st state. Yeah, it was weird and funny, not gonna lie. I love how everything is just okay. I thought there was a lot more ASMR videos than that. Thank God it's not showing my mommy ASMR. Yet. How free is the world? What the fuck?
I was the first one to ever join the military in my family.
Bro takes
When
up
I
85%
got
of the
out,
screen.
I knew that I wanted to.
Bro can't
How
see her feet when
free
she looks
is the
down.
world? In this video, we will take a look at the Human Freedom Index, a report that indicates the degree to which people enjoy civil rights and liberties across the globe. Spoiler alert, the report looks pretty grim.
That sucks.
Allow us to kick things off with a non-fun fact. Human freedom has been in decline for almost 20 years.
Oh shit.
Or in simple terms, in 2025, you are trending towards
I think the best example of human freedom, I don't know if you saw this today, but two absolute troglodytes decided to climb the Empire State Building, which is completely illegal. And it's this guy and this girl, right? And the guy, like, obviously likes the girl because he brought her up there and he proposed. He fucking asked her to marry him while they're on the Empire State Building. And I'm pretty sure she did say yes, not like she had much of a choice. I'm sure if she said no, he would have pushed her off the building. But like they just went to jail just like straight after. It's so pointless. Like even if they were like actually like in love and planning to go get married, like they were gonna be in prison, so it was like the worst place to propose ever. So it was so stupid. And then they hung this flag flag up that said something about power, which I mean like yeah, protest all you want, but fucking peaceful protests. Like, come on, you can't like trespass or blow fucking cars up like people have been doing. That's kind of stopped though, so that's good. But you know, like whoever you want, just don't go damage shit. It's so stupid.
wearing wide-leg trousers, listening to hyperpop, or just ruling a country in a dictatorial manner. That is, of course, sad news for people living in sad places, but it's great news for Mitzi, who now have a fresh video topic. To give you a clearer picture of the whole situation, we built you a cute little globe with puffy clouds to
Aww.
show you what's going on in the world. The parts that are marked in green are the countries where people are chilling and doing
That's
their
a
own
big
thing.
ass
You
airplane.
just can't mention biological
Or a
males
small
having
Earth.
penises, and you're not allowed to
Guys
use the
have
N-word
dicks.
as a white person. For the rest, everything's cool.
Aww.
Oh, and separating church and state probably also helped big time. The orange parts are countries that have a few issues concerning classical liberal principles. For example, rule of law, security and safety, freedom of movement, freedom of religion, freedom of association and assembly, freedom to watch Mitzi Studio videos, freedom of expression,
Freedom to watch
freedom in
Vortex.
relationships, freedom in making long lists that make people bored and want to hang themselves, etc.
Nice.
By the way, talking about hanging yourself, we cannot forget about
Nice
the red
transition.
territories. Now these countries are truly
Speaking
fucked
of
up beyond
hanging
all
yourself.
recognition. Forget
Have I
about
gotten banned yet? YouTube has started striking me for whenever I, like, behave badly on streams, so.
free press, judicial independence, or the right
But
to
since we're
protest.
down one
Yes,
strike, it's
the
not
long
one
list
strike and I'm
continues.
banned, it's now one strike and I'm 2-week banned and then I'm back, so. That's
When
good,
you live in
it's an
these
improvement.
countries, your life becomes something like a YouTube video, but with the comment section turned
They
off.
unstrike though? Yeah, but I still don't want to get striked. Again, you know.
Or set to strict monetary so the government can arrest you, your parents, your sister, and your dog.
That sucks.
Finally, the grey-coloured territories are countries
That's
where
why
there's
I
no
use
data available. Or better said,
NordVPN.
nobody gave two ends of a
I
shit
just
about
fucked up my
people living there,
sunglasses.
so they just opted for the neutral grey colour. But even in countries where freedom is supposedly upheld, the media landscape can be a minefield of bias and manipulation. Take the recent announcement by Meta to end its US fact-checking program on Facebook and Instagram. Some outlets hailed it as a victory for free speech, while others decided it was a step towards unchecked misinformation. That's exactly why we use Ground News.
Sucks,
Here
man.
you can even
Oh
check
my
how
gosh.
many news sources are covering a particular story. And
It is a
as we
sponsorship.
mentioned earlier, you
I just did a sponsorship too. NordVPN, please sponsor me. I actually don't because the money would be going absolutely nowhere because I don't have a bank
can
account.
see the continents of North America
And if I did, it would
Australia
100%
are doing
be in
pretty
debt.
well. You could add the continent of Europe as well if you ignore Belarus and Russia as actually being in Europe. South America is doing moderately well with the exception of Venezuela.
Nice.
The continent of Africa and the region of the Middle East are basically a shit show. Surprise, surprise.
The fuck you mean
Of course, we're not
surprise?
talking about every country, but generally speaking, it's not very good. In many of these
Oh,
countries,
nice.
you have authoritarian and corrupt governments. Add to that a particular religion
Shucks,
which
man.
doesn't seem to go very well with basic human liberties. Wonder which religion we're talking about. Allow me to demonstrate. I just need to find my wife and her suicide vest. Sorry, what's
The
that?
fuck?
No, baby. You don't look fat in that. Besides suicide vests, let's not forget about
Wait,
all
what
the
religion
armed
is he
militias
talking
fucking
about?
around, killing civilians everywhere and all the time.
I think I know the
I hope
answer,
that
but
no
I don't
further
want to say
explanation is
it and
required
sound
to tell you how that's not
religionist.
helping a country looking free on the freedom chart. Moving
That
over
guy
to
just got
Asia,
decapitated.
Japan,
Imagine,
Korea,
bro.
South Korea, Taiwan, and for some reason Mongolia are doing pretty well. However, India and most countries in Southeast Asia achieve a moderate score on the index. If we go right smack to the middle,
Islam?
the People's Republic
Yeah,
of China is
I
not a
figured
great
that.
place for being free.
I didn't want to say it though
It is
without
also a bit
confirmation.
ironic they had to call it
Sounds like an
the People's Republic.
episode.
Although Chinese
Episode of
communist
fucking
officials
Sesame
are
Street,
technically
bro. What is
people,
this?
maybe that is what they meant. Over the years, China has built one of the biggest and most extensive surveillance networks in the world.
The faces
using
just kinda
artificial
remind me of
intelligence
something out of
to
Sesame
monitor
Street
its
for some reason.
population. Oh, and they called a part of that
I don't know
system
why.
Skynet. I bet one of those communist official boys is a big Terminator fan. I'm just not so sure if "I'll be back" is going to have the same ring to it in Chinese. You know what? Let's try it out. Here's Chinese Arnie. Whoa, hui lai de. Yeah, I'm not
Kinda
a fan
heat.
yet. Unless I'm being monitored right now, and then yes, I am a big fan. Additionally, the government has implemented a social credit
Nice.
system that evaluates citizens' behavior. Basically, if you express your dislike towards the government, you might not be allowed to ride on the trains. If the government gets even more upset, they might throw you in front of said train that you were not allowed to ride on. Long story short,
No
credit
way.
scores matter in China. And how about protest rights in China? Well, do you remember
None.
this event? Do I need to say more?
Is he
It looks
protesting
like the Chinese
outside of the
government
tank?
guarantees freedom of speech, just no freedom after that speech. Minor detail.
Bro.
China is also the world's largest jailer of journalists, with most of them being Uyghurs. Over the years, more than 1 million Uyghurs have been
Nice.
detained by the Chinese, so I guess it doesn't
Uyghurs?
matter much if you are a Uyghur, a journalist, or both.
Uyghurs?
Worldwide, freedom for people in
They're
different
putting white
countries
people
is
in prison and white
most
people
cases best
only?
reflected by a
Actually, I
free
don't think I've
press,
ever seen a
or the
black
lack
Chinese
of it.
person, so that
Countries
wouldn't
like
make sense.
Eritrea, Syria, Afghanistan, North Korea, and Iran are among the worst of the bunch. Despite the relative higher scores in Europe, North America, and Australia on the Human Freedom Index,
Is that
it does
Goldilocks?
not mean these countries don't face significant
Goldilocks got
challenges
that golden
regarding human
cox.
rights and liberties.
A guy
However,
protested
many
by standing in
protesters
front of a
misrepresent
line
these
of
challenges to
tanks.
criticize
Bro, there's no way that you actually had the survival instincts of a rock solid wiener. That's actually so stupid. You're like, you know what? I could protest, but like, I want to do it somewhere interesting. So why not in front of the barrel of a tank? That sounds like a genius idea. That's like, that's so stupid. Did he get killed? Is he alive? I feel like if he didn't get killed, I feel like, I mean, count your blessings, dude. That's crazy. Like, yeah, damn. This looks just like my hometown.
Western policies and organize the dumbest protests you can imagine. For example, the climate activist groups blocking roads, so traffic needs to be redirected, causing more carbon emissions in the process. Although it still beats throwing soup on paintings. Or people who criticize colonialism but have no problem living in the same rich country built on that exact same colonial doctrine.
Nice.
Or the campus students who cry out loud against cultural appropriation but all wear a kefir when it comes to protesting a war. I'll bet all of these people are very grateful
What?
to
No,
use their rights to
no,
protest
that was
in
not
this
the wind, bro. That was not the wind. No, that was not the wind, bro. Caught in 4K right now, bro. And then it disappears.
I'll bet all of these people are very grateful
He
to
just
use their
throws
rights
it.
to protest in this wicked place we call democracy. It's like you,
Oh, I
your
probably
parents,
should-
and your grandparents all worked
That was the
hard to
wind.
build an ark,
That-
trying to
that
save
really
all
was the
living
wind that
things
time.
from the flood, and now the fat fuck elephant is complaining about splinters in his foot. Maybe we should be more worried about rising hypocrisy instead of sea levels. The year 2024
Not
was the
blaming
year
the
with
wind
the
this
most
time. No,
elections.
that
While over
I
80% of the
promise me
countries in
clicking
the
on that
world
website
conduct
was the
elections,
wind.
less
I
than
was
40%
possessed.
of those elections are genuinely free and fair. So, to wrap things up, freedom is like your grandma's old Wi-Fi. Spotty, unpredictable, and somehow still better than what you get in North Korea. But hey, at least now you know where you can go if you want to be free. I gotta warn you though,
Nowhere.
there's a queue. Because in a world where freedom is disappearing faster than your attention span, at least we still have this same lame-ass channel telling you the truth.
Let's
Sort of,
go.
with a bit of sarcasm and the occasional suicide vest joke thrown in. Thanks for watching, and until next time, may your credit score be high.
Let's go, bro. My credit score's probably in the negatives. They mentioned you little attention span. Bro, what did I do? My gosh, bro. I have a good attention span today though, because I watched the 2 hour. Was it 2 hours? How long was the movie? An hour and 48 minutes. Okay. So yeah, about 2 hours. Dude, the movie, I'm fucking obsessed with it, bro. I'm actually obsessed with Obsession. It's so good. That
Blitzkrieg, the tactical dream
no,
scenario of
what was that? No, we're not just gonna okay, we're just gonna roll past that.
Germany's
Alright.
favorite villainous mustache enthusiast Adolf Hitler.
But seriously nice. But seriously though, Zip, if you haven't seen Obsession, it's actually amazing. I can't recommend it enough. It's
You know,
beautiful,
the guy
it's
who
sexy.
looked at World War I trench warfare
I
and
just-
thought, how can we
I'm
make
obsessed
the
with
new war go faster and even
But you know what I love more than Obsession? No, I can't say that actually.
more terrifying? Apparently, a guy called Heinz Guderian claimed to have the
I basically it good,
storm
bro.
in like a boss with fast-moving
holding you at
tanks,
gunpoint.
screaming Stuka dive
I thought you
bombers and
liked Hitler?
artillery while everybody chats
Maybe.
over the radio. And just like that, Blitzkrieg was born.
I don't
Combining
actually like
speed,
Hitler. In all, like,
firepower,
all
and the audacity
seriousness.
of a drunken dare or a meth head. But we will come to that later.
We'll come on that later.
Let's
Hell
set
yeah,
the
we
scene.
will.
It's 1939, and one of the countries in Europe that was just minding its own business was Poland. A place that had mostly psycho-wacko dictators as neighbors. Speaking of red flags,
that
I'm sure
Joseph
the
Stalin?
swastika and Soviet banner were among them.
I think it
Suddenly,
is.
Poland found itself hosting a
Two of my
blitzkrieg
favorite
beat attack.
characters, bro.
And right from the start, things turned into chaos for the Polish army.
Joseph and Adolf.
The Luftwaffe was bombing cities and railways, cutting off Polish frontline forces,
Shucks, man.
and generally making things very uncomfortable for everyone below. Meanwhile, panzer divisions rolled through the countryside, bypassing strongholds with high speed like it was all a scene from The Fast and the Furious. Get it? Okay.
The Furious?
Then on September the 17th, the Soviet Union crashed the party
Call
from
me
the
a
east,
furry girl.
because
Bark,
why
bark.
let Hitler have all the fun?
Bark, bark, barking for that pussy
After
cat.
the swift
you know?
conquest of Poland, the war shifted gears into what's known as the Sitzkrieg, or as it's cheekily translated, the
The
sitting on your
Titzkrieg.
butt war.
Where's beating his
While the
meat?
French fortified their
Oh, no, he's
borders
petting
and
his
waited for
pussy.
something to happen, the
Cat,
Germans
his
were
pussy cat.
anything but idle. They used this lull to finalize
said
invasion
but.
plans for Denmark
I'm
and
sorry.
Norway. The butt-sitting phase
Is that
officially
gold
ended when
coins?
Germany steamrolled Denmark in just a few hours. Clearly,
that
those
sucks.
Panzer boys were on a tight schedule.
Skeg school.
Norway, however, proved to be a trickier nut to crack, thanks to a pesky little thing called the Royal Navy. And the fact
There's
that
no
Norway
way I just fucking laughed at that. That's actually insane.
is, well, kind of massive and covered in snow. Perhaps a bad omen for what lay ahead. By now, the German armored convoy had reached its next destination, France and the Low Countries. The French, feeling pretty confident, had constructed a supposedly
Hear me
impenetrable
out, bro.
defensive marvel known as the Maginot Line.
May sound crazy,
It was
but
like
hear me
building
out.
a massive wall to keep out burglars,
You know
but
what else
forgetting
is
to lock the
massive?
back door. Predictably, the Germans didn't bother with the front. Instead, they strolled right through the Ardennes
Maggot
forest,
Lane.
a region the
Easy
French
way around
assumed was
Maggot
too
Line.
dense for
Oh,
tanks.
9.
Turns out the Germans were basically saying, "Hold my schnitzel." In addition to schnitzels,
That's
German
crazy.
soldiers were also supplied with Pervitin. As it turns out, Blitzkrieg wasn't just about tanks and tactics. It was about troops
Blitzkrieg.
blitzed out of their minds
Let's
on
go.
methamphetamine. Now, if you're struggling to imagine what an invasion led by a meth-fueled Nazi horde in armored vehicles looks like, well, let me paint that picture for you. Auf der Heide.
Hell yeah, bro.
Auf der Heide blüht ein kleines Blümelein
Bro, what the
und das heißt
what the hell is this? Nah, what?
100.000 kleinen Bienelein
Bees.
wird umschwärmt,
Erica.
denn ihr
Song is a bop.
voller Süßigkeit,
I'm getting banned for this, aren't I?
Blütenkleid. Auf der Heide blüht
I'm 100% getting banned for this.
und das heißt
There's some music video stuff to it as well. Really? Oh. What the fuck, bro? Let me hire this guy to make some animations for me, bro. Damn.
So yeah, that happened. This was apparently the German interpretation of a Tour de France,
Alright,
with
we
the
just gonna
Panzer
move on from
divisions
that?
reaching
Cool.
the outskirts of Dunkirk in just 2 weeks. For reasons still debated, Hitler then decided to call a halt to his tanks and let the Luftwaffe finish the job.
Rob spicy peanut butter? What the fuck?
Part of the delay was likely because Hermann Goering, eager to prove his
Hermann
worth,
Goering.
wanted to claim some glory. Sadly, he proved
My
to
fault
be
is
far better
restricted?
at
No,
clearing
it's
out
fine, dude.
buffets than winning battles. Anyway, the Luftwaffe failed to wipe out around 400,000 British and French troops on the beaches, and most of them managed to hop on boats and float off to England.
I'll just say it's educational, because it is.
Despite the Luftwaffe's fuck-up at Dunkirk,
I need to catch up
the
on my
Germans
history
still
anyways.
demonstrated the overwhelming power of their Blitzkrieg doctrine. In less than a week,
That guy's
they
nips
had
were out.
occupied the Netherlands, bombed the
Nice.
Dutch city of Rotterdam to rubble, and forced Luxembourg to surrender in just 12 hours. Ouch.
That's unfortunate.
What followed was the Battle
Imagine
of Britain,
surrendering,
where
bro.
Goering yet again
Imagine
showed the
surrendering
world
that
he was
booty.
more obese than capable. His Stuka dive bombers performed great during the invasion of France, but high in the skies above Britain, surrounded by Spitfires and Hurricanes,
Hurricanes.
not so much. At this point, Hitler focused his attention on the east. In June 1941,
Bro, my great aunt
Germany
used to
decided
call,
to take its lightning war
hurricanes,
to a whole
hurricanes.
new level with
Then she
Operation
died.
Barbarossa, the biggest
I'm
road trip
ending
in
every
history.
story like my
This
grandpa
was a
does.
Blitzkrieg campaign on steroids.
My grandpa,
or
okay, I'm gonna
methods.
get really sidetracked here for a second. Short story time. My grandpa would be telling like a great story on, he was a homicide detective, and he's like, I used to work with this guy. Yeah, he loved donuts. He had a great life. Happy wife, everything, wife and kids, beautiful couple. Then he fucking died, and that's just the end of his story. Every single story, he just ends with, then they died. You could just leave that part out. I mean, I could fill in the gaps. You're fucking 76 years old, so probably could have filled that in. Elite stories, though, not gonna lie.
Tanks were rolling through the Soviet defenses and planes were bombing Soviet
Did I get
positions
banned?
into oblivion.
Okay, no, I'm
By the
alive.
end of summer
For
1941,
now.
the Germans were moving fast and the Red Army was scrambling to keep up.
What the hell is going on?
But then the Germans got introduced to Rasputitsa, aka
I'm
the
sorry,
Mud Caesar.
what?
This quagmire was a far cry from rally racing through the
Quagmire?
green fields of northern France. By November, the Russian winter set in and pretty much screwed up the entire plan of the Wehrmacht to capture Moscow.
Quagmire!
When spring arrived and most German soldiers finished defrosting their testicles, the army once again blitzed their way through
Sorry,
Soviet
what?
defense lines toward the Caucasus and the city of
Caucasus?
Stalingrad. After months of maintaining the initiative, Hitler thought it would be cool to capture the city of Stalingrad because it bore Stalin's name. Well, certainly it would end up being a lot cooler than anticipated. The Battle of Stalingrad quickly stripped the Germans of every tactical advantage they had. No more fast tank maneuvers and no more close air support. Just an
Shucks,
endless
man.
maze of destroyed buildings packed with Russian snipers. Luckily for the Germans, there was
Quagmire
no
is
Russian
a
winter
soft,
to-
boggy area of land
sorry
that
about
gives
that.
way
Another Russian winter
underfoot.
set in and turned many
No,
Nazi
it's the
soldiers
Family
into
Guy
ice
character. I don't know what you're
sculptures.
talking
A
about.
setback. To make matters worse, the Soviet army was about to show the world they would be the ultimate blitzkrieg bastards. Two giant armies pierced through the German flanks and encircled Germany's 6th Army, still holding out in the city. With no fuel for their tanks, no food for their soldiers, and zero protection against the cold, the 6th Army was doomed and ultimately surrendered to the Russians. Despite all
Pussy.
that, the days of Blitzkrieg were not over for the Germans. They would still carry out fast-moving tank maneuvers, just more in the direction of Berlin.
Elite. Absolutely elite video. And they didn't have a sponsorship in the middle of it. For now. There we go. Hey, welcome in, Ben Tron Gaming. Tough off funk. For real, bro.
When playing games on PC, do you ever wonder if someone had a clip with you in it?
I'm waiting for that shit to release on Spotify, bro.
Clips are in, and connect
11
to
most brutal torture methods. Right?
Sound torture. Archaeological evidence suggests torture was prevalent about 7,000 years ago in early Neolithic Europe,
that
although people
Fred
were probably
Flintstone?
being cruel and torture frenzy for a while longer. Despite
Imagine.
torture still being practiced across the world, most Western countries don't use it anymore.
Still being
For example,
practiced.
the US hasn't used torture
Nice.
since Guantanamo Bay. That place became infamous
Boo.
for using loudspeakers to blast heavy metal music in a small room with a prisoner. Very cruel. Except for that one prisoner who was actually a fan of heavy metal. This torture
Exactly,
technique is
bro.
often combined with long-term isolation and is used to cause severe stress on a prisoner.
See, I love heavy metal, but if you put me in a room and just blasted that shit, yeah, it'd be fine for like the first few seconds, but you know,
Mental state.
if
Ling
you're
Chi.
too chicken, we can do another.
Ling Chi
you're
translates
too
to
chick-
various
no,
names
this is
like
fine.
slow process, lingering death, slow slicing, or death by 1,000 cuts. Not a convenient death if you are in a rush. This torture method was part of an execution process used in China around 900 AD. It was also used in Vietnam and Korea. The
You guys
method was
got a black
adopted to
dick.
punish people who committed heinous crimes. In most cases, the condemned person would be strapped to a beam or pole. Subsequently, a knife was used to cut small portions of skin or small
That
body
sucks.
parts. Vital organs
Bro,
or
not the
veins were
ding-a-ling nose.
bypassed
Not the
to make
nips,
sure
bro.
the victim would not die prematurely. According to Chinese beliefs, the execution was also a punishment after death, because the body would not transit whole to the spiritual life. If you think
Shucks,
about
man.
it, the not transitioning to spiritual stuff part might be the least concerning thing on your mind. If you are unlucky, the execution could last several days, and opium could be
jeez.
given to alleviate the suffering.
Bro, turn to
Do you
Eric
think
Cartman.
shopping feels like torture on its own?
No, this is an ad.
Since our Middle East did not actually exist,
Called
but
it.
for the sake of this video, we believe that it did. The Iron Maiden is a human-sized casket made
Iron
from
Maiden?
wood and iron spikes. The casket was made of multiple pieces that could be opened to allow a person to
Oh,
enter.
jeez.
The shape of the casket forced the new resident to stand upright for a long time. To make matters worse, the iron spikes would pierce the body of the poor chap inside. The length of the spikes was long enough to pierce the skin and flesh, but were too short to reach any organs or other vital parts. Obviously, this
jeez.
was done to make sure the victim would suffer during their stay, but not necessarily
Not the
die
band,
a
really.
death. Kind of like staying in a Park Plaza hotel.
That sucks.
Keel hauling. The name keel hauling comes from the Dutch word keelhalen. The invention of keel hauling was basically the result of being on a ship combined with Dutch ingenuity to come up with creative punishments with limited resources. The far-stretching Dutch-Asian trading routes had ships sailing the world seas
Oh,
for
Dutch?
many months on end. Many cases of misconduct
from
or
Red Dead
mutiny broke
Redemption?
out on these ships.
I don't know why that's
To
the
crack
first time
down
that
on
popped in
these
my mind.
revolts, captains enforced severe punishments.
My
on
family's
agitators.
actually from Dutch, so they
With
probably
keel
did this
haul,
shit.
A long rope dragged
That's not
the
a lie,
sailor
by
under
the way.
hull
I'm
of
not
the
personally
ship.
Dutch, but the
This
family
method
name
could play
is.
out in many ways.
They're
However,
shoving that
most
up his
outcomes were
ass.
somewhere between bad
He probably
and
likes
very
that.
bad. If it was bad,
Who
the sailor would
wouldn't,
be
am I
dragged along
right?
the
Or, I'm
hull, which
sorry.
was usually covered in barnacles. These would cause
Ooh.
painful lacerations. If the outcome was very bad, the sailor could die from head trauma, hitting the rocking hull, or simply but obviously drowning, which is the worst nightmare
Wow.
for
Why
every
would you
Dutch
bring him
person.
back up on the ship? That's
Rat
retarded.
torture.
No, don't torture the
Most
rats.
people are not a fan
Oh
of
wait,
rats.
I've heard of this. They like put people that like on the ground and rats will like come and eat them or something. I'm probably getting that really wrong, but it's something like that, I think.
And this next torture method is not going to change that. The most famous variant is the bucket rat torture, originating from the Tower of London's Rats Dungeon in the Elizabethan era. A
Yeah.
dark cell near the high water mark would draw in rats from the River Thames.
Yeah.
The rats started to eat on the limbs of the prisoners while they were still alive.
I'm
Not a
educated
very
on
pleasant
torture.
experience.
That was an
During
awful
the Dutch
sentence.
Revolt, a pottery bowl filled with rats was placed upside down on the naked body of a prisoner. Hot charcoal was piled on the bowl, making the rats inside the bowl panic. Desperate to escape the heat, the rats would eat their way into the bowels of the victim. This process
Oh.
would be quite horrifying and extremely painful. making the victim die a slow death. Later, several South American dictatorships followed up on the rat torture, with Argentina refining the method to something called
No
a
worse? Yeah, that was a lot
with
worse.
rats being inserted into a tube so the rats could gnaw their way into a victim's rectum. Elaborating
Nice.
on the expression, not
What's so bad about that?
giving a rat's ass.
Without giving a rat's ass.
Instead of spending hours
Elite joke, I'm
creating
not even gonna
metadata
lie.
for a photo of this truck to put in a catalog,
Shut the
and
fuck
using a
up.
store online,
I'm not
I'm gonna show
sponsored,
you
by
how
the
to do
way.
it all in Airtable using AI in just a few.
Oh yes,
Crucifixion.
using AI to think for you. What's new?
Crucifixion. A bad thing if you're not into slow deaths, but great if you're trying to promote a religion. Crucifixion was a method of capital punishment, where the victim was tied or nailed to a wooden beam or cross. The victims would be left hanging until they bled to death, or just with the passing of time and not being able to run to a supermarket. This method of capital punishment was used by the Persians, Carthaginians.
This
and
was a
Romans,
pretty
among
brutal
others.
punishment, though.
During Emperor Titus's invasion of Jerusalem, many Jews were nailed to crosses. This was done by Jew-hunting Roman soldiers, including Mel Gibson.
Jew hunting?
As mentioned before, victims could be hanged for days or exposed to the environment and being eaten by vultures. It is believed the most common cause of death during crucifixion was asphyxiation, with the condemned having serious trouble inhaling due to the hyperextension of the chest. The most famous crucifixion is, of course, the one where they hung Jesus, who died on the cross for our sins and promised he would come back for a visit. Didn't happen yet, still waiting.
Yes, sir. Wait, what? Did you
White room torture.
cross just turned to a rocket, bro?
No, not the new clubhouse name of the Proud Boys, but a torture technique using a small cell completely
Oh my
painted
gosh.
white. The effect on the prisoner's mental state would be significant over time. The prisoner would wear white clothing,
Yeah, that's
eat
awful.
white rice, and drink white milk. With the complete numbing of the senses, the prisoners would experience severe mental stress paired with hallucinations.
Yeah, bro, I
This
can barely
torture
even look
technique
at
works
this room, bro.
extremely well for interrogations and is believed to be used in Iranian prisons and by the CIA. The Iranian regime shrugs this off by being totalitarian, obviously. The US just calls it enhanced interrogation instead of torture. It seems both excuses work really well.
Gotta look at Dookie to stay sane. That's
Scaphism.
awesome.
Floating on water in a little boat sounds relaxing, right? Well, wrong. We are talking about scaphism here, an ancient Persian method of execution and
Doesn't
probably
look that
one of
bad.
the nastiest on our list. Before the whole boat floating stuff, you are fed
Oh.
honey and milk. Thereafter, you are strapped between two boats with your limbs hanging out. Next, you just get a small push, and there you are, floating on water filled with swarms of hungry vermin. With uncontrollable diarrhea. Do you want to see this anus? Join our Patreon for uncensored videos. Now, let's move on. It wouldn't take
Sorry,
long
what?
for the vermin to find their way inside the
Bro.
boat and start eating the passenger's body from
That was the
inside
worst way to
out.
promote a Patreon.
Yikes.
Holy fucking sh- That's insane. Are you fucking kidding me? It's almost 10:30 p.m. and some dude is blasting his fucking bass in his car. What the fuck, dude? That just shook my whole house, I swear. Jeez.
The
That
brazen bull.
sponsorship was the best part.
The brazen bull, also known as the bronze bull, Sicilian bull, or bull
I think I've
of
heard of
Phalaris,
this. Don't
was
they
an
just like
ancient
toss
Greek
it in the
torture
bowl and then they
device
like
designed
cook
in
you
the
or
shape
something?
of a bull, obviously.
No
With
shit.
one door on the side, the condemned was placed inside of it. A fire was set under the bull,
Yeah, they,
heating
like,
up
cook
the
you.
metal structure, frying the victim inside. To make the whole process a true cinematic display, an acoustic apparatus inside the device converted the screams of the condemned into the sound of an infuriated beast. The inventor of
Oh,
the
nah.
device, Phalaris, was later overthrown by Telemachus. Phalaris
Aw.
suddenly found himself locked inside his own designed bull of Phalaris.
Oh,
Now,
that's
literally,
awful.
He would never hear his own screaming, just the sound of an infuriated bull. Bamboo torture.
This happened in China.
Bamboo torture.
Told you.
A kind of vegan colonoscopy is a torture method that doesn't
That's why
need
you
many
sold
resources.
ghosts.
The victim would be tied in a fixed position.
Yeah, no. See, here, look. Quick room tour. If I move this camera, my window's right here. This is my window. The door's over there. It's on that. Oh, shit. There's my mic.
Overhanging one or multiple bamboo shoots. There are depictions
Nice,
of
I
victims
know,
hanging
right?
in a horizontal position.
The more you know.
A slower torture method is where the victim is
Never
hanging
saw the
vertically.
window. Well, it's
The
closed,
bamboo
so.
shoot would grow up the victim's arse into his intestines. At this stage, the victim would probably still be alive.
What's so bad
but
about that?
wishing
Am I
he
right,
wasn't.
guys?
With a growing speed
Thought
of
your
roughly
room
a
had
few
no window.
centimeters an hour,
No, it
the
does.
bamboo would slowly pierce the upper torso, eventually killing the victim.
Oh.
Since the body is hanging on a stick, bamboo torture is ideal for cannibalism parties. Blood eagle. The blood eagle is a torture technique that appears in Norse literature. A bunch of Vikings thought it would be a cool sight to chop open a man's back, sever his ribs from his
Oh my
spine,
gosh.
and pull their lungs through the gaping hole. The graphic resemblance to a bird shape gave this method the name blood eagle. Despite its appearance in Norse literature, there is no archaeological evidence to prove this method was adopted. For example, finding a corpse with chopped up ribs and floating lungs would definitely help. What we do know from research is that the blood eagle was more of an execution than an actual torture method. The victim would have died long before he might have
Oh,
thought,
yeah, for
damn,
sure.
I look like a bird now. Check out our new store for cool Mitzi merch.
I am not buying that shit. Unless you got one with Hitler on it, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm playing. Probably. We've been streaming almost an hour already, damn. Alright, well, we're gonna watch one more, okay? Watch this one be like 10 hours long. Okay, no, it's 10 minutes. Here, I'll drop these guys a sub since we've been watching them this whole stream.
During war, always be prepared for a rainy day. Except it's not raining cats and dogs this time. It is raining metal darts. And some more metal darts. This Italian invention called flechette was first used by the French in World War I. The metal darts were carried under the fuselage of an aeroplane. The pilot would search for enemy positions with large concentrations of infantry. When released, hundreds of metal darts would fly down from the sky towards the enemy at high speed. The weight of the darts made sure it could penetrate the steel helmets of the soldiers below. However, if you were one of the lucky ones not to get metal darts into your skull, you and your friends would still be transformed into a bunch of porcupines, being in a lot of pain as well. Can you imagine Phil Taylor dropping these bad boys? Would have made the crowd go wild on some impressive 9-darters.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to
Bro.
code. This is base 44.
It's an AI, bro. You're not doing anything.
What about a nuclear warhead on a mortar round? Why not? For sure, you don't have to worry about your rounds missing the target because this anti-everything in front of it device doesn't know any near misses. A bunch of soldiers could carry around this device on the battlefield, deploy it relatively quickly, and fire a 23-kilo nuclear mortar over a distance of 2 kilometers.
Chill.
Upon impact, the mortar would explode, creating a blast yield of 20 tons of TNT, which
Holy
is not a
shit.
good thing if you're on the receiving end.
This is like what me and my friend do
Outside
in
the blast
Minecraft.
zone,
a little
soldiers
bit,
close
sure.
enough would still receive a lethal dose of radiation. You get the point by now. It's mostly just a lot of death and nothing after the event of firing this
It's just like a tinier nuclear
Despite its
weapon,
deadly
basically.
potential, the weapons were never used.
Or
in
nuclear
active
bomb, I
combat.
mean. Oh, they weren't? That sucks.
Does the name anti-tank scooter sound like fun? Then this next
Yes.
vehicle is going to be to your liking. This French design is an answer to the question, can you kill tanks while being on your way to a local bakery? We've all been there. It also carried
all
6
thought of
extra
that, right?
rounds in case your scooter was still there after firing it. Hell, Why not do a wheelie and use it as an anti-air gun as well? Now, I
Hell
know
yeah,
we
bro.
constantly make jokes about the reputation of the French military, but you can't just show us a moped with a fucking naval gun slapped to it and expect us to keep straight faces. Although, in the Frenchies' defense, the cannon was not really designed to be fired while on the move. However, in the heat of battle, you could still fire it if you felt like it.
Fucking knockback is crazy, bro.
Are you scared to show your
Krumlauf?
face? Then this gun system is made for
Kumklauf?
you. The Krumlauf is a curved barrel invented by the Germans in World War II. It was to be
That's
placed
kinda
on an
smart, I guess.
STG-44 assault rifle to shoot around corners. You would think this gives you some serious tactical advantages on the battlefield. Well, it does in some cases. For example, if the enemy is hiding in a pipe, stuck on a toilet, or just drowning in a well. In most other cases, however, it's useless. With the 90-degree barrel variant, the enemy was not able to see you, but you could also not see the enemy, unless you mounted a bunch of mirrors to the gun, which you might not like to carry around on a battlefield. After firing a few mags, the barrel was completely turned to shit. Bullets shattered, turning the device into a shotgun. Basically,
I
the
didn't
only
even
way
think
they could
about
have made
that. You
this
can't even
weapon
see
even
them.
dumber was by making the barrel 180 degrees.
Pigeon-guided
Before
missile.
the introduction of advanced guidance systems, there was an unusual idea for missile guidance involving pigeons. The project was called Project Pigeon. Sounds sophisticated already. This idea never made it beyond the drawing board, but nevertheless it ruffled some feathers. A pigeon in the nose of the missile, which we
didn't
will
use
call
it?
Pilot Cuckoo for now, would be looking at a small screen. The target for the missile would be displayed on the screen through a camera. Pilot Cuckoo would be trained to peck onto the target with great accuracy, although the reward for completing these difficult aerial maneuvers would be a very quick death for the bird. I mean, I can imagine winning better prizes for coming in first. Despite the sophistication of the
That's a whole
pigeon-guided
fucking
missile
pigeon
system,
military,
Pilot
bro. What
Cuckoo
the
did
hell?
not make it very far in the pecking order, and other more advanced weapon systems were implemented to be turned into real
Yo,
weapons.
this is sick, though.
Sorry, Pilot Cuckoo.
We should bring this back, bro. Gay bomb? Now that's my kind of weapon.
Yes, we are serious about this one. A gay bomb. Now, you are probably thinking they can't hint at a device designed to bomb people into gayness. Well, prepare yourselves. At some
It's
point in
literally
time,
shaped like a
concept
wiener.
emerged for a chemical weapon that would release pheromones, causing soldiers to get sexually aroused and attracted to individuals
Ugh.
of the same sex.
That explosion
Which is a
was
nice way
crazy.
of saying
What the
they dropped
hell?
their guns and started to suck each other's cocks in anger. How
Oh,
do you
no.
make a war movie about that? I mean, can you imagine a soldier storming an enemy position only to find a bunch of soldiers occupied in some mutual fellatio? And the Oscar goes to...
Did it work?
In the end, the project was considered impractical and unethical.
What?
Funny, bombing civilian targets
Oh, nah,
every
dude.
few years
The
in
bomb
Goat
is
Fuckistan
nutted.
is okay, but turning people gay is a bit much.
What do you mean, bro? Bat bomb.
With
Did I
the
get
bat
banned?
bomb, the Americans came up with the idea to put a
not
shitload of
yet.
bats into a big cylindrical container and drop it over a Japanese city. After it stabilized in freefall, the container would open at a predetermined height. Thousands of bats carrying incendiary devices designed to ignite upon impact would dive down on the city below. Since most buildings in Japanese cities were made of wood, well, you do the math. Many wooden buildings plus thousands of blazing bats equals
That's
a lot of
genius.
buildings gone and many people homeless. But
Did
then
it
the
work, or did
Americans
they
came
just
up
not
with
use
the
it?
nuclear bomb, which equals even more buildings gone. Oh, almost forgot about the homeless people. They would also be gone in this case.
But the bats are
Americans
cooler, though.
obviously
What?
preferred the latter. Maybe because they hated Japanese people. But also, who wants to carry a giant metal Pringles can with thousands of Molotov bats in their plane, cruising at an altitude of 30,000 feet? Anyone?
They're cool, though, bro.
In ancient
Ancestral
warfare,
pigs.
Creativity often met
That's definitely
necessity,
what that said.
leading to some unusual tactics. One such historical oddity is the use of incendiary pigs. The story dates back to ancient Rome during the siege of Megara Publia. And yes, we forgive you if you don't know
Hear me
the
out,
place.
bro.
In a desperate attempt to breach the
Do you
city,
want to see this pig anus? Fucking world of warships, bro. I don't care. Suck my cock. Please, I'm
These
lonely.
defences, pigs were coated in a flammable tar and set alight. The Romans hoped to achieve success by completing these steps. Step 1, getting the pigs panicked, which worked because they were on fucking fire. Step 2, make them run towards the city gates, which also worked. Step 3, setting the city on fire. Well, this did not happen. The pigs
Couldn't
ran
they
back
just
to their loving, caring owners and
light
set
the
them
pigs on
ablaze.
fire?
I guess it goes without saying that
They
failing
could just
epically
light
to
the
complete
place
step
on
3
fire
did not
regularly.
help the Romans a lot in taking over that city. It was not all bad news for the Romans though. At least they could drink away their failure with some good wine and some delicious spicy fried pork. Bon appetit.
Nice. Sure, Gustav. The fuck? Oh, it's another
Travelling
gay
light isn't an
bomb.
option when you're hauling
It's another
around
dildo disguised as a
1,350
bomb.
tons. Yep, you heard it right. Say hello to the Schwerer Gustav. This Nazi-built railway artillery gun was nothing short of excessive. Just for starters, this thing had thousands of tiny little Nazi soldiers to assemble, disassemble, transport, maintain, and obviously fire the weapon. Oh, and after firing it about 300 times, the barrel inside looked kinda like the target it was firing at. Not exactly ideal. To make a shittier design even shittier, it could only be moved fully assembled if it was placed on 2 parallel train tracks. So forget about a quick shoot, in and out while flashing around your big long gun. Wait, that sounded a bit gay. Anyways, back to Nazi terror
The
weapons.
fuck?
This project was mostly Hitler's
I want you to
brainchild.
flash
So
around
it
your
goes
big
without
long
saying
gun.
that you can regard all of this
Oh, no
as
way, a
part
Hitler
of a longer
cameo?
list of bad military adventures. Oh, sorry,
It's my favorite actor. Royal Aircraft Factory BE9.
I am sure you already know a few planes or plane-ish creations that were not a success. However, this
Shucks,
next
man.
invention is probably far beyond not a success. Say hello to the BE9,
Oh,
the
they're
world's
fucking each
first
other
plane
nice.
with a propeller between the pilot and the gunner. Any drawbacks to that? Well, forget about any instructions going back and forth, you
Oh,
know,
that's
with
stupid.
a propeller between you and the pilot. Besides not talking, it might also be a great idea not to tilt your head backwards. If you do, you will be a headless gunner, and your pilot buddy will get a complimentary brain shower at 12,000 feet. I'm sure that doesn't help anyone during an intense dogfight. Oh wait, it does help someone. The enemy pilot. Duh. It wouldn't take long for a smart Dutch guy to come up with a machine gun that could just shoot between the propeller blades, putting this shitty plan into the shitter.
Good, bro. That was fucking retarded. Yeah, they think being gay is too far. Genocide, man, that's okay. Being gay, that's too far. True, bro. Alright, here, we have a little bit of Mountain Dew left. I'm gonna chug it. There you go. I'll probably be back tomorrow. Probably. I'll definitely be here 4th of July, though. So, that's pretty hot. Check the fit, bro. I got the full American shirt, bro. I got the hat, bro. I got the ass, bro. What? Oh, 5 vortex. Hey, bro. Seriously, thank you so much for being here, bro. I really do appreciate it, my man. Thank you for the epic videos, bro. Um, yep.